All right, 3, 2, 1. Titans fans, hello and welcome back to the Two Tone Crew. This is episode 128. That's right. We are recording this on a Sunday evening. If you're listening to us live, Sunday after the Titans game. We hope to make this a more regular occurrence, or at least just see how it goes here, getting the raw emotion that's fresh right off of a game. As I said, this is the Two Tone Crew, and we are the official podcast of TitansReport.com. Just a two-man show tonight. Scotty is alongside me. Welcome back, Scotty.
What's up, John?
Not much. At least it's all positive tonight, right?
Sure is.
Great victory for the Titans today. So episode 128, official podcast of TitansReport.com. And if this is your first time tuning in, we are a weekly Titans fan podcast, and we break down the latest game and also preview the upcoming game. Sometimes it's usually three of us, but tonight it's just two. Sometimes we have four. Tonight it's just Scotty and myself. And we are, of course, talking all about the Titans' victory today against the Green Bay Packers. So all three of us last week, Scotty, we predicted a Titans win. I'm not sure we really expected it to go down quite like that, but at least we got the win right.
Right.
So 47-25, the final score in this game. And, I mean, really, from the very beginning of the game, things kind of went the Titans' way. We did not get the onside kick, but after that, Packers have to end up punting because they have a drop pass, or really wasn't a great throw by Rodgers, but it was incomplete. Then the Titans get the ball back, and first offensive play, right? Murray takes it 75 yards.
Right.
So,
Crazy.
yeah, just right out of the gate, 75-yard touchdown run for the Titans. And following that was just really total domination by the offense. I mean, that was really an incredible performance all the way around. And I posted in the actual game thread over on Titans Report as it was happening. I mean, Mariota, Murray, and Delaney Walker were really playing at an elite level for a period of time there where they were just unstoppable. I mean, there was nothing the Packers could do to slow them down. And really, I mean, it's kind of what you've been saying in recent weeks, Scotty. If we can minimize the turnovers, that's what this offense is capable of, right?
I mean, I didn't think it was capable of this, but yeah, you're right. I mean, obviously mistakes killed a lot of scoring opportunities earlier in the year, but this has just turned into some kind of I mean, like I posted, it's an offensive juggernaut. This is unreal. That they possibly have the best offense in the league right now.
I mean, for today, I think they were firing on all cylinders. And for a while, they were firing on all cylinders last week too. But when you get those turnovers, they're backbreaking. I mean, as we saw with Phillip Rivers today, he, I think, had 4 interceptions and cost the Chargers that game easily. That was, I don't know why he couldn't throw a couple of those last week, but yeah, just several bad throws by him in that game. But yeah, I mean, again, the offense has really improved as the years went on. Mariota has improved. And I don't know if it was just because the Packers kind of bring that national eye, but I was seeing a lot of national guys in the media today tweeting about Mariota and the offense and just saying, I mean, to the national guys, it seems like Mariota has finally, I mean, he's arrived to them now. At least it's how I was taking it.
That's the stuff I saw too. It wasn't a question of, he's getting better. The stuff I saw, he's a stud. He's arrived.
Yeah.
He's the real deal. And I mean, he is. This has been sustained for a while now. This isn't just a Jacksonville game. You're like, okay, he did it a couple of times as a rookie, but they're averaging 34 points a game over the last 6 games. I mean, and his numbers are off the charts the last 6 games.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, today he finished out 19 of 26, 295, 4 touchdowns, rating of 149.8. And I think it was you I saw that was posting, even in addition to all the great passes he made, some of the greatest plays he made were those throwaways of making the decision to just get rid of it and not risk anything.
Yeah, and I believe it was late in the game. They were in the red zone. It was the one time they didn't score a touchdown in the red zone. He he scrambled and he just kind of slid down and gave up the play because there was no reason to force anything.
Yeah, and
And
stayed
that's
in bounds.
yeah, and kept the clock running. Earlier in the season, he always thought he had to try to force something, and you can tell not just in this game either. You can tell the stuff's all starting to he's starting to soak it in.
Yeah, man, it's so exciting. That was one of the most exciting games I've watched in a while as a Titans fan, just because, I mean, now that they've done it, this is their fifth win, and we can talk all we want about bad teams and teams being up and down. And I don't think anybody would say Green Bay is playing well right now, but with 5 wins and to do it in the fashion that we've done it in some of these games, I'm like you. I mean, this is for real. If they can keep the turnovers down, this is what the offense is capable of. I don't know if it's like you said, I don't know if it's 47 points every week, but man, I mean, it's exciting. DeMarco Murray, Delaney Walker, those guys are elite playmakers right there. And then if Mariota keeps elevating his game to that level, and then we've seen the past several weeks now, Rashard Matthews finally, I mean, he's clicking now. Another touchdown today. That was a great throw and catch on his touchdown. I don't know if you had
Oh,
any comments about that one.
yeah, I was going to say when you were naming off the playmakers, I think you have to put Matthews in there. He's
Yeah.
he's a legitimate number one receiver. It's hard to accept it just because he's kind of a no name, but I heard Greg Cosell breaking down the game last week, and he said San Diego treated him like a number one receiver.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely playing like one right now. I mean, we'll see if he's able to sustain it. But the past couple of weeks, he's definitely been playing like a number one.
He has a
And
touchdown in 5 straight games or something like that. It's some kind of record I saw.
yeah, I don't know the exact numbers, but yeah, I saw that it was indeed a record that he was it a Titans record or a record for him
I
personally?
I I think it might have been a Titans record because it's not
Mm,
easy to catch 5 TDs in a game in a row. That's pretty hard to do.
yeah,
But I don't remember the exact record though.
that's the disadvantage of doing it the night of. We don't have time to do as much research, but check out Titans Report. We post that kind of stuff all week in the message boards there. Yeah, it was the running game. Let's talk about that for a little bit because they had the long one right out of the gate, the 75-yarder. But after that, I mean, what did you think after that? Because Murray finished with 123. He averaged 7.2. That was on 17 carries, but you got to factor in the long one of 75. And then Henry carried 9 times for 31 yards, 3.4 yards per carry. I mean, really, it was one big one and then kind of just enough to keep them honest, really.
I think they had 162 yards rushing, and if you take away the run, obviously they had like 29 carries for 90 something yards or so. And I thought the Packers' run defense was actually, aside from the long run, I thought their Packers' run defense was pretty outstanding. They had a lot of tackle for losses, and they kept the running game contained. They couldn't contain Mariota though.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting looking at their rushing defense because I think they were number one in league coming into this game, but Jamal had posted about, I think for like the last 4 weeks, they'd given up over 400 and something yards. So they were definitely trending down. And this game, we were lucky, I think, to get that big one when we did, which was a great play. Let's talk for a minute about the ejection and Dennis Kelly stepping up because Taylor Lewan, I guess that was our second drive when he was ejected very early in the game and making contact with an official. It was annoying play because they definitely got a free shot on, or was it the first drive? I can't remember. It was definitely early in the game though.
It was very early. It was the first or second drive.
I think I'm misremembering because the Murray play was definitely the first play of offense, right?
Right, right. I bet it was you call that a drive, it's one play. I bet it was the second drive.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So then they come in and just shove Mariota, step across the line, and he's always going to stick up for him, and really wasn't doing anything to the other team. But then the official came in trying to break it up. He wasn't really paying attention and kind of shoved the hand away, and that's automatic every time. And I was pretty worried at that point. I thought it could spell disaster because the few times we've seen Kelly in there, he's just gotten destroyed almost right away. but he settled in and did a great job. And I think they probably adjusted the offense a little bit too. You think?
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't think there's no way they would have left Kelly out on an island like they would trust Lawan.
Right.
But I also think we're lucky that Clay Matthews missed the game. If he's over
Yeah.
there on Kelly, it's probably a different story. But I mean, he did well enough in the scheme, so it worked out.
For what we gave up for him, I think it's probably worth it for this one game, right?
Hey, I mean, look around the league. There's nobody that has a pair of tackles like the Titans, hardly. Two or three teams,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. And then they also have a decent third tackle. I mean, they're as good as anybody at the offensive tackle position.
Would you have considered at all putting Conklin over there? At the time, I said switch him, but the more I thought about it, it's like, well, you probably don't want to mess up how well he's doing over there.
Yeah, I don't think you want to mess it up. I think you just put a tight end over there, let the running backs chip over there, stuff like that. You don't want to mess up I mean, when's the last time Conklin played left tackle? And,
Right.
you know, thank God we're sitting here talking about in a blowout win what they should have done. But because
Exactly.
I was like you, I actually thought it could cost them the game when Lawan got ejected.
Yeah, it was so early on, and
Mm.
I mean, I knew it would change the game plan, but I thought it would change it for the worst. But it ended up working out in the end. I mean,
It may have hurt their run game too. You know, I've said they had
it could,
29.
yeah,
You know, maybe if Lawan's in there, maybe they're a lot more effective running the ball because he's an excellent run blocker.
yeah. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the defensive side of the ball because it's so hard to really judge a defense when you're blowing out a team like this, but they definitely let the Packers hang around in it. And as we talked about last week, I think this week just solidifies the offense has absolutely passed the defense up. I mean, it's not even close at this point.
No comparison.
Yeah. I think the defense, they may have been more consistent all year than we realized. I think just at the beginning of the year, there were some bounces that went our way, some penalties. I know the Lions had a lot of drops in that game, and the Texans are just, they're just not very good offensively anyway. They had the punt return. But the defense is definitely an area in the offseason. It's one of those things there's only so much you can do now. They tried switching out. Al Woods was a healthy scratch today and had in, I think, Angelo Blackson started from the nose tackle position. So they're switching it up. Sims was also up. He played some today at corner. And Rodgers obviously kept going after Cox and torched him for a lot of the game. But like Parrish Cox always tends to do, he still makes a couple plays that just bail him out of a situation. So what did you think about the defense overall? Because I know during the game I was pretty frustrated, but looking back, I don't know if it was as bad as I thought.
Well, Rodgers seemed off a little bit on the first. They
Mm,
punt.
yeah.
They almost went 3-and-out on their first three drives. They got one first down, I think, on the second drive. They punted three straight times. After that, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, interception, touchdown, field goal.
Mm.
But at the same time, the Titans they scored touchdowns on 5 of their 6 first drives. So after that,
Dude.
they were constantly trying to catch up to the Titans, and the Titans, first of all, they had such a big lead, and second of all, they would score just enough to keep the Packers from really threatening it too much.
Right. Yeah.
And the defense, they also got just enough of a pass rush to kind of keep them in the game while their secondary was giving up pace. But I don't care who you are or how good you are. When you throw the ball 50 times in the NFL, bad things are going to happen.
Yeah.
And this is what I like about Mariota. This was an Aaron Rodgers type game. And he threw the ball 26 times and still had all that production.
Yeah.
That's so efficient.
He started out like 10 of 10 at one point,
Yes, 10 of 10.
and then of those incompletions, a couple of them were throwaways. The fourth down play, that was probably his worst throw of the game.
Yeah, he tried that. I think he tried to put it in a little too perfect, but
yeah. We'll let that one slide.
yeah. And they kept them from scoring there anyway, so.
Right. Yeah, just before the half.
Oh, I was going to say actually too when I felt like the Packers, you said this last week, we got another desperate team coming in here.
Yeah.
I felt after the Packers got down, they really gave it one last gasp to try to save their season, and they were playing good after that. Their defense,
Yeah.
I mean, they shot their wad trying to win this game and save the season, and the Titans didn't let them. They stomped it out before they could really turn it around.
Yeah. As much scoring as there was in this game, I was just looking at the box score right now. I didn't even realize we only had 12 points the second half, and the Packers just had 9. So it was really that first quarter, just the onslaught that we put to get out 21 zip,
And
and then
the Packers did a lot in the second quarter. They kept showing the stats. I think the Packers had like 210 yards.
yeah,
And they also had I don't know, 17 points or something in the second quarter.
they
They
had
made the rush.
16 in the second. Yep.
It was 35-10 at one point. I mean, that's hard to come back from.
Wasn't it you last week that was talking about how when Rodgers throws that many times, he's going to get his touchdowns and he's going to get his yards, but that's really not a good game. Like, he threw for 371, 2 TDs, but that was not an efficient game by any means.
That's why I like the passer rating. He had a 79 passer rating because it takes all that into account. You know, back in his MVP days, that's what always killed me about him. He'd be 17 of 21 with 380 yards and 5 touchdowns. to just throw the ball 20 something times and to have all that production. I mean, he would have 11 yards per pass, which Mariota's yards per pass today was
11.3.
And by the way,
nailed it.
They had another touchdown pass that he didn't throw that
that's right.
Murray threw, so they actually had 5 touchdown passes.
Yeah. I know Jamal would be mad if we didn't mention, because he told us about this in the private message. We were talking a little bit about the red zone numbers. I mean, at this point, it's like comically insane how good we are in the red zone. I think at one point this game he was 29 touchdowns, no interceptions, but that was like the first touchdown he threw, I believe.
Right.
Brian Billick was tweeting about that. So I can't remember if the other 2 came from in the red zone or not.
They were 2 or 3 in the red zone.
So yeah, those numbers have only went up now. And let me pull up real quick here. I'm going to try to get the stats for overall touchdowns.
There were 3 of 4 in the red zone, so 3 of them.
So 3 of his 4. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because they flashed that stat up there today about Aaron Rodgers when he had 20 touchdown passes, that was like tied for third or something. And Mariota ended up getting
20. He's got 20.
He's 21 now.
21, that's right, 21.
Which is currently 4th in the league in touchdowns, right behind Aaron Rodgers with 22. So yeah, the only guys with more touchdowns than Mariota this year are Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, and Drew Brees. And of course, as we record this, well, Brady's playing, but he had the 4 weeks that he missed, so there's no telling where he'd be. But that, and I know we haven't had our bye yet, but just that alone is pretty phenomenal right there.
2 of Mariota's touchdown passes were 30+ yards, so 2 of them was not in the red zone.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so that red zone number of his it's just, I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it. When we get in the red zone, you just you expect a score now. You expect a touchdown. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean, they were number 1 in the league going into this game in the red zone. I heard. I heard the stat. And last week they were 5 of 5, and the week before that they were like 4 of 4. I mean, this is, like you said, it's just unbelievable.
Oh man.
I wasn't kidding. I posted in the game thread. If this continues, which it's been going on for a while, I actually think Mariota could at least be in the discussion for MVP.
Wow.
He's playing that good.
Yeah. I mean, you've said all year long, like without the turnovers, if he could just cut down on the turnovers. Because, I mean, against the Chargers, he put up a ton in terms of, yards and touchdowns, but those 2 back-breaking turnovers. And then I think, was it the Colts game where he had that one near the end that cost us when we could have that was the fumble. Yeah, he fumbled, so it wasn't an interception, but they had the scoop and the return for the touchdown. I mean, that's been his Achilles heel. And if you think that, I mean, clearly people who haven't been watching the Titans might not fully realize just how much he's grown this year. But early in the year, we were talking about, man, he looks shaky in the pocket. I'm not sure if he's moving very well. He doesn't look comfortable there. We were still wondering if he could throw a good deep ball. He's getting more comfortable in the pocket, that's for sure. He's throwing a better deep ball as well. That one to go ahead.
I listened to the weekly shows on 104, and they were actually talking. Is Jason Michael the quarterback coach? Is that right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mariota was talking himself about how they do a bunch of drills in the pocket. And about 6-7 weeks ago, Mario talked about how they, we talked about this early in the season. He was pressing. He was trying to do too much.
Yes. Yeah.
You could see it. And he said, the coaches told me, take one play at a time and forget about the whole game, just one play at a time. And I think all that stuff's clicking in. And I think that, I think the stuff they're doing with him is working. It's amazing how it's all clicking now.
Mm-hmm. All right, you threw out Mariota as potential MVP if he keeps this up. Let me throw this one out there at you. How many more wins before Malarkey is in serious consideration for Coach of the Year? I'm sure you'll love to discuss that.
Oh, I think 9 or 10 wins. And actually, if they keep playing like this, like 8-8 could potentially do it because their record was so bad last year. A lot of times it's the team. But I saw the Vegas odds before the season, and I posted this. He was 100-1 to win Coach of the Year.
Wow.
And just the situation.
You're right. I agree. The situation alone
is ripe for the type of thing for Coach of the Year. But probably.
Let's just think about it now. So really, early in the year, everybody was talking about Mike Zimmer. Well, the Vikings have fell off a cliff. Really, the only other one who's kind of at the forefront right now would be Belichick and Jack Del Rio, probably with the Raiders.
Well, Guru mentioned Jason Garrett. That's a pretty good one right there.
That's right. Yeah, I always forget about
a rookie quarterback and a rookie running back.
Yep. He's got to be the front runner, probably.
Yeah, they would have to fall off, or he would. Right now, I would give it to him right now myself.
Yeah, I think so too. I'd forgotten about him. He's probably definitely the front runner right now with the rookie quarterback, rookie running back. I think they came back and won today, didn't they, against the Steelers?
Yes, and they had a ton of suspensions on their defense to start the year too.
Yeah, so Malarkey will definitely be in contention if the Titans win a couple more games here. I think that's for sure.
Either way, he's doing an excellent job.
Yeah, 5 wins at this point. We have now matched our win total from the past 2 years combined.
Not only that, like today, he said, they were going to come out. They were so aggressive. They came out and tried the onside kick, which didn't work. I thought it was a terrible kick, but and then they went for it on 4th down, and they went for the kill. And I think Malarkey has probably learned a lot from his previous coaching stints, and he got a staff together that has run the same type of offense that he's always run. And you heard him talk about taking ideas from the other guys earlier in the year, and one game at a time. And as soon as the game's over, you go to the next game. And I think personally he's doing a great job, and better than anyone could have ever dreamed, I think.
And I was a huge skeptic of Robisky, and I've criticized him on the board and on here, I think. But he called a heck of a game today. That was probably his best game in terms of offensive play calling. He tried that one play where they did the little misdirection with Henry and Murray, like one too many times, if I'm nitpicking. But other than that, he did a great job getting Walker involved, did a great job accounting for Lawan being out. And obviously Mariota gets a lot of credit too, but he called a great game today, I think.
And like I was saying earlier, it sounds like they're actually coaching Mariota and improving his weaknesses and stuff.
Yeah,
it's just a dream come true, really, for everything you could have hoped.
And how great, this is kind of backtracking, but I want to at least mention it before we move on to next week. How great was that catch by Murray down the sidelines when it looked like Mariota
Oh,
almost overthrew him?
well, that's another thing. I mean, even though I think Mariota was off on some passes early in the season, the pass catchers were doing nothing to help him in
Exactly.
the last 5 or 6 games. Wright and Matthews have made a couple of really nice catches, and
Yep.
Wright caught a couple passes. I mean, that stuff matters too, and they've as Mariota's gotten better, so have the pass catchers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean these receivers, they're all of a sudden looking like decent guys now. Sharp finally, he got his first touchdown of the year today.
He's getting better. I think the last 3 games or so, I thought he's looked a lot better.
Had an odd celebration, but kind of wasted his opportunity there. If he was going to get flagged, I would have done a little bit more than that. But yeah,
I guess
so
he's been waiting. He's been waiting 10 games to unleash that.
he's been planning on that exactly. Now, the only bad part, if you're looking for the bad part of today, is that the Texans won and the Rams won. So elsewhere, things did not go the Titans' way in terms of who we would like to see lose. I can't believe the Texans, man. I mean, they are so bad and just
They
keep
are.
finding ways to somehow to win. They were against the Jags today, so that kind of speaks for itself. But
How about this? Can we start the season over again? Because is there any doubt that the Titans would be far and away favored to win the
mm,
division?
yeah,
They're the best. They're the best team. It's not even close. I don't think.
yeah. Well, that takes us right into next week because we're gonna have our chance to avenge that loss to the Colts. We go to Indy, and this is kind of something we've been doing at the end of each episode, or kind of for the second half of each episode, is talk about the upcoming schedule. And when I was looking at it, I said we need to win one of San Diego, Green Bay. We did that. And all three of us, you, myself, and Jamal, said division games are a must. We only have 3 left. Colts coming up. Then we go to the Jags and Texans at home. Those 2 are to close out the year. So Christmas Eve is the Jags game, and then the Texans game is on New Year's Day at home. So I agree. I think those are must wins. This is the game. This is the biggest game in a number of years for the Titans. I really do believe that when I say that. We're sitting at 5-5 and have an opportunity to really make a strong push here to the end. The Texans are going to lose at some point. I fully believe that. They've got the Raiders coming up. They've got the Packers coming up, and they've got there's one more team that they're coming up against that's going to be pretty
Green
decent
Bay.
team. Well, yeah,
Green Bay.
I said Green Bay, and then
Oh, okay, okay.
and they've got who was the other? San Diego is the other team they got. So Raiders, San Diego, and Green Bay. I think they could lose at 2 of those, if not all 3. I mean, Green Bay. Go ahead.
Honestly, they can lose to anybody.
Yeah, they're
Did
not a
you
great team.
did you say the Bengals?
They play the Bengals towards the end of the year. I was just going over their next 3 games. But yeah,
Yeah,
the
Raiders,
Bengals.
Chargers, and Packers.
Yeah.
I,
So they're
I,
probably going to drop some of those. This game against the Colts is enormous. And
oh yeah,
considering the way the Titans, Malarkey talked about how they wanted to come out to a fast start and they really wanted to make a statement, going against a team like the Packers, big national following. Half the fans in the stadium are Packers fans. You get a little bit more national attention when you're playing the Packers. I saw a lot of tweets today about the game from national guys. So you've got to get up for the next game too. And I think they will be, because I really feel like they think they let one get away against the Colts, and they did at home. 34-26 was the final, but remember, that's the game that Mariota had the fumble that they ran in for the touchdown when it looked like the Titans were down. Actually, the Titans had the lead. Andrew Luck came down, got the lead back. We've got the ball. Titans, it looks like we might be able to go down and score it, and then the fumble recovery happens. They have to come out fired up. Colts are coming off a bye, so they're going to be well rested. I don't know that it really gives them any more advantage game plan. These teams know each other pretty much exactly what they're going to be doing at this point. So they'll be a little bit more well rested than the Titans will be. It's at home. It's at Indy. So I feel good about this game, though. I really do. I feel like Titans, the light definitely seems to have clicked, especially for the offense.
I don't remember the details, but they gave up a punt return and they gave up something else that cost them points in the in special teams. They missed an extra point and something else happened.
In the last Colts game.
Yes, there was 10 points the Colts scored on special teams off of
That's
special teams.
right. Yes, it was the onside kick that we dropped.
That's it. Supernall dropped the onside kick. You're right, and
Yeah.
that led to a field goal.
Yep. They got
I
that.
also
Go ahead.
I don't know if Andrew Luck can match the game he had in that. I mean, he was phenomenal in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could still be. This is also, you talk about looking at the schedule. This is the last really good quarterback the Titans play.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I saw it when you posted about that. It's true.
And their defense, the Titans' defense, when it was getting all the praise, it's because they wasn't playing Rivers and Rodgers and Andrew Luck. And I think their defense could be. Dick LeBeau does really good against quarterbacks that are not really good quarterbacks. He does a good job on them.
Yeah,
So
how Luck performs in this game is going to be interesting because, like you said, he had such a great game against the Titans last time. Their backs were against the wall at that point. They actually beat the Packers last week, so they're coming in on a little bit of a positive note as well. Like they certainly didn't beat them like we beat them though, but they're coming in on a little bit of positive note, coming off their bye. They're still right in the thick of things. So one of these two teams between the Titans and Colts is going to get a little bit of separation here and be much closer to the Texans. This, like you said, or like we've said multiple times, it's almost a must win at this point for the Titans.
Yeah, they can't just keep getting to 500 until they're going to run out of season. It's time.
Right.
It's time to win 2 or 3 games in a row and
Exactly.
start pulling away. Which, hey, I believe they can do. I think they can win. There's 6 games left.
Yeah,
I think they can go 4-2 or even 5-1. I think it's possible.
I do too. I just they're getting they're getting hot at the right time. I mean, even last week against the Chargers, the offense was hot. It's just the turnovers, like we've said. The offense was hot the week before against Jacksonville, destroyed them. And now we go to the Colts and then we go to the Bears. So we've got a 2-game road trip and then we've got our week 13 bye week. Those are 2 very, very winnable games. And this Colts game, man, I really do. I really mean it when I say I think this is the biggest game the Titans have had in the past few years. The last time the Titans were at 500 this late in the season, I think it was Munchak's first year, and they were on the downswing at that point because they had started off so well that year.
Right. The Titans have also shored up their special teams. They're starting in better field position. They're not giving up the returns like they were.
Yeah, Marianne even had a nice return today. Got it up to the 40 or so there, right before the half.
Yeah, 41-yard line. Just take a knee. That's all I want to see. Take a knee.
So what do you think about the Colts game? How do you see it shaking out? Like I said, they're coming off the bye. I think the Titans are the better team, just like I did last time. But
I think
about this weird little.
Well, here's the reason I like the Titans to win the game. Mariota did not play well. He had pretty good numbers against the Colts, but he was off target. He that's the game where he missed like 3 third-down conversions, and
that's right.
He was really off on some passes. The way he's playing, and the fact that I don't think Luck can play as well as he did in the first game, I think it's gonna, and if take away the quarterbacks, and the Titans team is definitely better than the Colts. So,
oh yeah,
if Mariota can just match it, or even possibly be better, he could be better than Luck. I mean, he was better than Aaron Rodgers today. It wasn't. it wasn't even close. There was a mismatch. There was a mismatch today, and it was on Mariota's side.
Yeah. I was saying in the game thread there in the first quarter, Rodgers literally looked like a rookie. I mean, I don't know what's going on with that guy. It was just passes were so off target, and he looked frazzled back there. He settled down, but he's still, I mean, he's an average quarterback right now. He's nowhere near the guy he was back in his heyday. He could definitely get it back, but
he still threw a couple interceptions in the second half. I believe they were both in the second half. I mean, so even after
Well,
he
the
settled
one
down.
was the Hail Mary, right?
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. You're right.
yeah,
You're
and
right.
then
You're right.
then the Cox had a legitimate one later on.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Yeah, this just feels it just feels right. It feels like this is the time for the Titans to just tear down that door, tear that monkey off their back that's been plaguing them for years now with this. No matter how bad the Colts are, no matter how bad we are, it just always seems to be a game in the Colts' favor. But on paper, I agree. I mean, it's like we said last time, the Titans have the better team. They've got more talent. And I'm anxious to see the game plan. I'm anxious to see if they come out thinking they're going to try to throw like they did against Green Bay and say our QB is better now and we're going to hang 45 on you, or if they're going to say, you know what, luck killed us so bad last time, we need to rely on the running game a bit more.
I think, I mean, obviously we say this every week, but if they don't make several key mistakes, I think the Titans will handle the Colts pretty easily.
Yeah, win the turnover battle. Simple as that, right?
Or
And
just don't have any. I mean, I don't care if you get one from the Colts. If you just don't have any back-breaking turnovers, they'll win the game.
yeah. And the defense, I hope they come into this game with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder because they should look back at that last game against the Colts when we had the lead and they gave up the score and Luck just really torched them all game. And we talked about how he just made some insane throws that you are sometimes very difficult to defend even with great defense. But I hope they come in with a chip on their shoulder. And I don't know what we're going to do about Cox at cornerback if they're going to, because they put Sims in for a little bit over there today and then Cox came back in. And like I said, he always seems to do just enough to keep his starting
Right.
spot. But
Yeah,
that's,
I'm sure if Sims or they had Blake over there a little bit too, I believe.
yeah, I gotta say, Blake made a few plays today that weren't bad. Maybe the name change has done him well. You never know. Yeah, so after the Colts game, though, like I said, we go on the road to the Bears. Then we have the bye, and then that final quarter of the season, which now, man, the Broncos look beatable. They've got a really good defense, but their offense is not that great. Then we go to the Chiefs. That might be the toughest game left on the schedule. They always seem to find a way to win. Arrowhead, it's so tough to win up there. Then we're at Jacksonville, and then the game to close it out against the Texans. It could very well come down to that final game. The little plan that I laid out back a few weeks ago when I looked at the schedule is I said win one of the two against the Chargers or Packers. We did that. Then I said beat the Colts, beat the Bears, and I even gave us losses to the Broncos and Chiefs. And even if we lose to the Broncos and Chiefs and then beat the Jags, beat the Texans, that puts us at 9-7. That just might be enough in the AFC South this year because I mean, the Texans keep getting lucky right now, but I feel they're going to start losing here at some point.
If they beat the Colts this week and the Texans in the finale, 9-7 will win the division, I believe.
I think so. Yeah. Let me pull up the
I,
Texans schedule one more time before we wrap up. Yeah, go ahead with that thought there.
I've got it right here if you want to hear it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
They play the Raiders, then they play the Chargers, then they go at Green Bay, at Indianapolis, then they play the Jaguars, the Bengals, and at Tennessee.
Mm,
That's a tough schedule, I think.
yeah. They get the Jags at home. That's the easiest one. But Packers on the road, you got to think at some point the Packers are going to turn it around. That division's crazy right now, too. I think the Lions are actually leading it. So they're still going to be playing hard. It's not like the Packers season is over. They're still going to be playing hard to try and win the division. Chargers are a good football team. Today they lost with 4 Philip Rivers turnovers. And then at the Raiders are one of the best teams right now. That's going to be tough to win. I think they're coming off their bye, if I remember right. I don't think they played this week.
It's a Monday night game, too, but it's in Houston. It's a Monday night game in Houston.
It says at the Raiders on the Texans schedule.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at Raiders next week.
Okay, I'm looking at the Google Houston schedule. It's got it as the
Oh, that's weird. On
The
the
Texans.
Texans website, it's at the Raiders. They get the Chargers at home, at Packers, at Colts, Jags at home, Bengals at home, and then at the Titans. That's what it's showing. It might be wrong. One of them's wrong. But either way, it is the Monday night game. Yeah, ESPN. All right, so for prediction time, we were right last week with the Titans win. You think they get the win again against Indy?
Yeah, I really do. I think they'll handle the Colts.
I hope so, man. That would be our biggest win of the year if we can finally beat the Colts, even though they're not having a great year. The Colts, just like it was great to beat the Packers today, even though they're not having a great year, just because they're one of those upper echelon teams that is consistently good. And with the Titans, they just have, like I keep saying, this weird thing about the Colts that they just can't seem to shake. So to finally be able to put them away would be really nice. I think we win too. I picked us to beat them last time, and it came back to bite us. But I'm picking them to win here. I just feel like everything that needs to be clicking is clicking right now. They're, knock on wood, they're still healthy. Malarkey said he made reference to that again today in the post game comments about how he literally had no injuries to discuss after this
I was
game.
gonna I was gonna bring that up. I mean, no injuries.
And so often the teams that do well in the playoffs are those teams that just get hot at the end. They're not even the teams that really necessarily sustain it all year. I think the Titans, I was going to make a post about this, but I'll say it here too. I think it's official that, and I know people say any given Sunday all the time, but I think the Titans can legitimately compete with anybody in this league. And that's including New England with the way the offense has been playing lately.
Well, I didn't want to bring this up because I mean, first of all, we've got to make the playoffs. But at this point,
Right.
nobody wants to play the Titans in the playoffs. I mean,
Yes.
they can win playoff games.
I was
Obviously,
thinking today, even if you're not talking playoffs, no team wants to have to play the Titans right now. If you're a team down the stretch and you're fighting for a playoff spot, like the Broncos will be, like the Chiefs may have it locked up by then, but like the Broncos and Chiefs and Texans, nobody wants to be playing them right now. The way that we are moving the ball offensively.
I can't say it enough, but the Titans have one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I declared he'd had an up and down start to the season. And then I can't even remember which game I declared it after, but I said people just need to stop. And I mean, we're going to critique him. We're going to keep nitpicking because that's what we do here. But he is the franchise quarterback. I think he has absolutely answered that question. The only questions that remain are how good can he be? You know, is he an Andy Dalton? Is he an Andrew Luck? Is he an Aaron Rodgers? Where does he fall in that category? Because he's the franchise quarterback.
I just can't imagine him regressing to the point where he's not. I mean, he would have to get injured or something. Dude. I mean, he's shown too much too consistently for a sustained amount of time now.
Yeah.
And the eyeball test, you can literally see that it's clicked for him.
Mm-hmm. And they're having fun. I mean, you can just tell they're having so much fun out there. Delaney, you just see him laughing, and they're all cutting up. Which Delaney today, I think he had a nice bounce back game. He struggled last week. I don't know if he was 100%, but he had that key drop early on the opening drive, but ended up bouncing back in a big way this week and showing that he's still capable of those big time games like we have seen in the past from him.
I think he could have had 200 yards if they'd have kept throwing him in the second half.
Oh, yeah.
He had like 140 yards, and they basically quit throwing to him in the second half of the game.
Yep. So another game in the books. We'll see the audience reaction to this, and if you guys like the Sunday night recording or if you prefer it midweek, it's really fun to do after a win. I don't know how it would be after a loss to come on and record Sunday night, but it definitely, everything's much more fresh in your mind. That's for sure. All the details of the game are fresh in our mind. I guess the disadvantage is we don't have time to really look at all the statistical implications and don't get to do as an in-depth preview of the next game, but it's pretty exciting. Hopefully next week we'll have Jamal or maybe Josh be able to join back with us. But yeah, I had a lot of fun today. That was That was a fun game to watch for sure.
Yeah, and it's been a while since it's been enjoyable to watch the Titans.
Yeah, man. If nothing else, this year it's been fun. It really has. Even every single game we have competed in. And I don't think that can be understated enough with the way the last 2 years have gone. Titans have been in position to win every single game. And their losses have been close. Their wins, some of them have been close, and some of them have been just domination like this.
They flat out given away at least 2 games. I mean, they could easily be. I don't know what would that make them?
Like
Seven,
seven,
3,
2, 3, yeah.
7-3, yeah. But I mean, they gotta. You are what you are. They gotta go from here.
Yep. It's going to be a fun close to the year, no doubt. This has been the official podcast of TitansReport.com, the Two-Tone Crew. Once again, I'm John Boy, and that was Scotty joining me. If you do post on Titans Report, Scotty is known as Oiler Man over on the boards there, in case you're wondering. And this is a weekly show during the season. We do the podcast every week, and I guess next week I was trying to figure out, we probably won't be doing 2 a week. So for now, just expect next Sunday to be the next podcast. And if you want to follow news that breaks during the week, definitely check out TitansReport.com. There's a very, very active group of fans there that post. You don't even have to be a member. You can still view the posts there. And before we close out, Scotty, one thing that this is a thread that just popped up on the board. I want to get your take on it. Has Schwenke done enough to hold off Spain? Because Quentin Spain was actually healthy today, or at least healthy enough to be active, but Schwenke got the start instead. Do you think they were just giving Spain a little bit more time, or is it a situation of we don't want to screw up with the chemistry right now?
I heard something during the week from McCormick or I forget the other guy that covers the team, but it sounded like they were planning on making him active this week and then making a real decision next week. So,
gotcha.
Because even if Schwenke is slightly better, it gives them more flexibility with the interior swing man, with Schwenke being able to play center in both guard spots. So I think they'll put Spain back in.
Right.
Because Spain can only play guard.
That's true. And yeah.
If Ben Jones gets hurt, they're going to have to move Schwenke over center, and you'll have more cohesiveness if you put Spain back in.
Kelly probably starts over Lawan, right? No, they gotta coach him through these penalties, man, because he's incredible when he's not committing these bonehead penalties. I mean, I appreciate him.
Malarkey did not give him any. He was not forgiving at all in the post game
today.
Yeah, he said something to the effect of Lawan doesn't need to worry about who's grabbing his arm. He needs to be in the huddle. And then he said, and from now on, he will be in the huddle.
I did see him say that it was the right call on the ejection. So,
he slapped the ref's arm pretty violently. I mean, there's no way you're getting away with that.
All right, guys. Once again, this has been the Two-Tone Crew. You can reach us in a number of different ways. Of course, the main way is through the website, TitansReport.com. There is a Facebook group, Facebook.com/TitansReport. You can leave us a voicemail at 615-900-0282. Once again, that's 615-900-0282. We are on Stitcher. We are on iTunes. We are on pretty much any podcast service. We are out there and available. Just search for Two-Tone Crew. Tell your friends about us. If you have Titans fans in your family, in your friendship groups, then let them know about the podcast. Rate and review us on iTunes as well. And we'll talk to you guys again next week. Have a great week, everyone.